You've been in office for more than a year now. And so what have you learned in that time and what have you accomplished so far?
Well, I've learned a lot. For someone who's lived here over 50 years, I've learned a whole lot more about my community. That when you have 300,000 in your community, you learn that there's a lot of diversity, which is a wonderful thing. There are a lot of needs that maybe you didn't know about, and there's also a lot of support and encouragement in this community that makes you very proud to live here. Some of the things that I've worked on over the last year is making sure that after these last 2 years, our corporate community is happy where they're at. They've had to make some real adjustments, and at the same time, they're very happy to be in Plano. And we've made a real effort to make sure that those amenities that they came to Plano for will continue.
And so what companies specifically are you talking about? Like Toyota and also one of the
Toyota and JP Chase, and Liberty Mutual, and then of course new relocations that have come to Plano. The Ryan Corporation that is building a large building, and others that have moved here over the last 2 years, and we're kind of that established corporate community over the last 10 to 20 years, and we feel like that identity has been real fruitful for the city of Plano. So we want to continue to have that identity here in Plano.
And let me ask you about economic development, since you mentioned it. I know along the 121 corridor, you've got more offices and restaurants, stores, et cetera, going up. Are you almost built out, at least in the between the tollway and Preston?
We're pretty close. We only have about 3% remaining vacant land in Plano. And quite frankly, a lot of what's left is over in the east side of Plano, on the Oak Point Park, around Collin College. But I think one of the real challenges that you have in a city that's been through this growth spurt in the 80s and 90s is to continue to be relevant and make sure that you revitalize areas that need it. So other than just the fact that we have Legacy West, and it's vibrant and it's new and everybody talks about it, Granite Park, all these areas up and down the tollway corridor, we're still really focused on our areas that need revitalizing, areas that need somewhat of a facelift. Collin Creek Mall is a good example that we've gone in and made some major changes, and hopefully we'll have a superior opportunity to have that vibrant once again. And so the challenge for us is to not only look for opportunities in new areas, which is limited, but certainly go and try to upgrade areas that are 50, 60 years old.
And so as far as the old Collin Creek Mall, you're talking about what? Apartments, office, limited retail?
It's obviously, I think you'll hear the word in Dallas and to the north of us that over retailing is something that you have to be careful about. And there is going to be obviously a lot of retail and restaurants, office and housing, but I think the mix is going to be more equal across the board than I think we've seen in the past.
And aren't you going through some concerns, I guess, as far as the kind of development at the old JCPenney headquarters, which I guess JCPenney's has now announced it's going back in there for its headquarters. So talk to me a little bit about that. Where are you as a city in the development stage and approval stage?
Well, the JCPenney campus, as well as the old EDS campus, which is significantly large, which was kind of our first real foray into that corporate community I talk about. Both have been purchased. One is a medical company, and the other one is going to continue to make the JCPenney campus a corporate campus with amenities all around it. So they have just made that purchase in the first quarter of this year and are coming up with their ideas of what they'd like to see. And at the same time, we're going to, obviously work with them. I mean, this goes back to that keeping Plano relevant in areas that have gone through a significant change, and try to come back with something even better. And so we'll work very closely with these companies in redeveloping these two major corporate campuses that we once had.
Have there been concerns about too many apartments being developed?
I think that concern is nationwide. We see it everywhere, from our competitors to obviously right here in Plano. I think one of the biggest things that we deal with when we talk to our corporate partners, they came to Plano for the talent pool. The talent pool is here, and the reason why they like Plano is because their employee base is very close. And I think the employee base that we are going through, or seeing this throughout North Texas, and quite frankly throughout the United States, is that they want those amenities to be close to their work. They play, they live very close, and obviously, Jack, that's going to have to continue to solve some of our transportation issues as well.
Live, work, and play.
That's it.
Let me ask you about Uvalde and the aftermath, and that there's a lot of discussion now across the state, even on Capitol Hill, and even in cities already, as far as making schools more secure. Have you had those discussions with area school districts that are in your city and your police department about doing that in time for the fall?
Yes, it is ongoing as we speak. We are having our police evaluate campuses all across Plano, working with the school district on their needs. We're obviously asking the state to come up with solutions on their end. Certainly the financial part of it will be significant. And we have always worked with the school district on our school resource officers in our middle schools all the way up through the high school. But now if we're talking about more resource officers in the elementary schools, we're obviously going to have those conversations with the state in regard to resources. But we want to work with the school district hand in hand to make sure that our parents, our kids, and our teachers feel safe.
And what has come out of those very preliminary discussions with the school district? You have, how many? You've got Plano, obviously. Frisco has some schools in your city.
Right.
Any other districts as well?
Richardson and Dallas also has, we have some schools in the district of PISD. I think a lot of that evaluation should be coming out very quickly. We're asking our chief of police to evaluate areas that are the highest priority for us and for the school district. And so we should have some of that feedback very soon. And then we're going to, see what we can do in regards to coming up with solutions for our district.
As a city council.
As a city council, in areas that we can assist them. Obviously, the school district is with all that's been going on, there are issues with teachers and the cost and the lack of resources coming from the state are all issues. And then this is one that's even major. I was on the school board in the 90s. Actually, I was a president of the school board during Columbine. So I think we've all witnessed this for way too long, and solutions need to happen.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about crime. How is this increasing in your city? And if so, how are you addressing it? If it hasn't increased in your city, how are you keeping it that way?
Well, we have not had any increase in crime. Actually, in the last 3 years, during the pandemic and even this year, we've had a relatively flat lining on increases in any of the crime levels. I really think we have a great police chief who communicates very well with the city manager and the mayor, and the training that they do is significant. And we never, I think, put our officers on the street before they're ready. But at the same time, I think we have a good relationship with our community, our diverse community that wants to live in Plano, but at the same time wants to feel safe. And I think we do a very good job. And we'll always need to continue to communicate with them and find out what areas of need they have to feel safe in their community. And I think it's a real priority to us.
Two other questions, Mayor, and I appreciate your time. What are your other priorities that you may have?
Well, I think obviously the tax rate is always one that all municipalities have to deal with. We want to provide all the amenities that I think the community has come to expect. We want to do it for the lowest price, but we want to make sure that quality of response time, whether it be our first responders, however that may be, we want to make sure that those items don't fall below where they're at right now, because we feel like we're doing a really good job in regards to safety and security and providing those amenities that I think people have come to expect here in Plano.
And my last question to you is, I understand your dad was mayor of Plano. So what is that like? You know, the son following in the dad's footsteps, if you will. It's
been obviously an honor. He was mayor in the early 90s. He is 90 years old and doing well. And I'm very proud to have seen him do such a good job. And we were two different dynamics where we're at as mayors. His was just the fast growth that you kind of see to our neighbors to the north now. And now we're in this mature community that's looking to continue to be relevant. And so it's real interesting, but I'm very proud to know that he did such a great job way back then. And I mean, I did this, I ran for this job because I love the city of Plano. I've lived here practically all my life, and it's a real honor to be a part of what makes Plano so great.
Plano Mayor John Muns, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it too.